All right, Jack. Jackson House. Hi, everybody. So it's straight up 3 p.m. afternoon on the East Coast. Welcome, everybody. So there's about 7 people waiting. That's always nice to see. Jack's been doing some great work, unearthing a lot of stuff. So right off the bat, the Epstein case is rolling on. Today, a lot of the victims they were having a hearing in district court. Hey, Cham, for the victims, about 20 victims of Epstein. Pam, here she is, Pam Olson, Save Our Children. Does a lot of great work in California with CPS, DCF, and how they're also trafficking our kids. But so yeah, the Epstein case is rolling on. Let me see. I don't know if this camera's good or maybe my head's getting too big. I don't know. One or the other. So yeah, Pam is a registered badass and has done some, continues to do great work with the issues involving child protective services. So welcome everybody. Our little investigations are on, but today, if you haven't, you can find it on Twitter. Even the mainstream media is being forced to report on the victims. They're having a hearing today in the courtroom that Epstein was going to be tried in. It was a hearing to dismiss the charges, which is, I guess, it's kind of a waste of time at this point. And even if they should decide to do that and grant that motion, doesn't really matter because the conspiracy charge is still ongoing. And hey, Lisa, hey, how are you? Saw Trish was back up on Facebook. I gotta touch base with Trish, Patricia Negron. She's really another great person. And so yeah, get that out there. These victims have received no justice, as it stands. A lot of questions coming up about the Attorney General and his previous relationship with a lot of stuff that went on in Mena, Arkansas. But yeah, but right today they had that hearing. There's been other than reports on 20 victims testifying before the court. There hasn't been any determination in the motion to dismiss the charges. I mean, he's dead. I mean, as far as we got, sure. Oh yes, you are a badass. Pam is a badass. A lot of badasses in here. So yeah, we've. So that's going on. And today down in Florida, the United States House of Representatives, Lois Frankel, she's former mayor of West Palm Beach. She was around when the plea deal was going on, but she's now a member of the House. And I'm not sure she's doing it for the right reasons, but she's trying to get a congressional investigation going on the plea deal. And I think that's a good idea. And hopefully everything will be public. If there's one thing that needs to be investigated, because we've seen the documentation come out on the civil case, and that's bad enough. People are still sifting through that. But the plea deal, those are the records that need to be opened, because those are everything. The Palm Beach Police, not the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department, but the town of Palm Beach Police Department did a fantastic investigation when this first came to light back in mid-2000. They gave all the information. The FBI had all the information. It was a federal crime. It was being supposedly, it should have been prosecuted on a federal level, but Acosta, who was the United States Attorney in Miami, kicked it back to the state court and got him a state charge, which was a joke. Barry Kersher, who was the Palm Beach County state attorney. Yeah, Jack, Miss Trish. She's on Facebook, but those bastards basically threw out Twitter. But so yeah, today we had the hearing to dismiss in New York, which I really don't think affects anything either way, because the conspiracy count will be ongoing regardless of Epstein being alive or dead or whatever he is. So that's going on, and then Frankel is trying to get a congressional investigation on the plea deal, and that's the information. When you say unseal Epstein, that's what needs to be unsealed. Is all the because this was an investigation done by the FBI on this case, and it has all those guys in it: Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz and all the people that were involved in getting him that plea deal. That's the unseal that needs to take place. So. Maybe a congressional investigation would do that. You know, it can't be a bad thing. So yeah, we need to keep the pressure on. Have you called the Justice Department lately? Are you tweeting at them? Are you Facebooking at them? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the story. Epstein is a intelligence asset, deep state, CIA, Mossad. That's the story. You know, and Whitney Webb, who's on Twitter. It's @_ WHITNEY Webb, WEBB, has done the greatest. It's it makes Julie Brown's series just look pale, because what Whitney did, she went in and traced it all the way back to Myra Lansky, who was a organized crime figure in the 20s, starting that pedophile blackmail right up through Roy Cohn. And it's just, you really have to read her series. That's what should be getting the Pulitzer Prize. Yeah, Julie Brown did some very good work and probably got the Justice Department to get off their ass and arrest him. But I don't know what she's doing now. I would, and we've communicated with her at least briefly by email, and what we're asking her to do is, the story is the corruption. What Epstein was just a pimp. He was the fall guy. He was expendable from day one. And that's what needs to be looked into now. And Whitney's doing a great job of that. So as far and what we're, we do our little part, the ambulance case is still unresolved. I'm still communicating with the woman in emergency medical services, and what we're waiting on. She confirmed that she made a complaint to the governor's office in the United States Virgin Islands, and she's waiting on the results of her complaint. So we're waiting for that. We're still in contact with her, which is good. It seems like they're taking it very seriously. We'll see what the governor's. We don't know if there's corruption above her. It's entirely possible. I think she's really, Whitney Webb is tremendous. So we're still keeping that avenue open. And our whole point with the ambulance, and we sent her some more pictures. Looks like Rusty Shackelford. He listens to our comments because we asked him to. Kind of bear down on the ambulance, and he basically almost sat the drone down on the ambulance, and he got some shots, which we screenshotted and sent to EMS of, it looks like a registration inspection sticker on that ambulance. I've never seen it before. It doesn't look like the ones that are on the legitimate rigs in the Virgin Islands, and there's some sort of, and look at it, if you guys go to our Twitter feed, those pictures are on there, but it looks like the outline of some state. I don't know. It kind of looked like Wisconsin, but not really. But the inspection sticker, yeah, Rusty's like having your own Air Force. I love that guy, and we'll talk about Zorro Ranch too. They're I think the news, a couple of the news stations out there are taking. Rusty's work to heart, and they've got some footage now of Zorro Ranch. So at any rate, on the ambulance, that is still ongoing, and our whole point with that, we may do a follow up with Jason Goodman. I hope so, or we'll start getting into Venezuela, because there's three things. There's the ambulance thing going on. There's Venezuela. If you guys read, hopefully, and it's on our Twitter line, you've read that Medium. Let me see if I can even post it here. If you haven't read it, there's a Medium out by it's an organization called the Him, and they're on Twitter. They have a web page. Let me see if I can get this article and post it for you. And again, I apologize. We're still working through our new software. And as you can see, it's called A Nasty Business, a Him blind item story. But let me see if I can. Yeah, that's part 3. There it is. I'll be darned. It's still coming up on Google. All right, so let me. I'll put that right into the chat. But yeah, if you haven't read this, you need to read it. And what it's about is, and you can get it the same way. Just Google. I mean, I don't care. I primarily use DuckDuckGo, but Google is, whatever. They all have everything that we're doing, so it doesn't really matter. But so at any rate, so Venezuela, this is, I think, is really important, because there has been no information on any Epstein house in Venezuela. Okay. This article, and it doesn't name names, but it seemed the information in it is right on. It talks about Prince Andrew. It talks about Hollywood A-list celebrities, supposedly Sean Penn being one of them. And what you can find on the internet is Sean Penn and a bunch of other Hollywood people. Naomi Campbell were down visiting Chavez numerous times. And why are they there? Because they care about Venezuela? No. Okay, so what's the reason for that? So anyway, this article, if you read it, is a pretty good story of what was going on down there. And part of it is a house, Epstein's house. And the other part of it is that a lot of the blackmail, and we know this is the story, that Epstein was an intelligence asset. We know this. They've been doing this for years and years and years. Whitney Webb points it out. This was blackmail, used by the intelligence services and the Mossad, MI6, the CIA, Alan Dulles. This is never let it go, right, Lisa? Hey, Karen. So there's a lot of good information out there, but let me read that story, tweet it out, share it, because it's something's going on in Venezuela. And along that line, and Jack was looking into this, and Jack had found a story that alluded to a trip that Epstein made with the ex-president of Colombia, who supposedly was really questionable as far as being involved in child trafficking. And I managed to get a hold of, let me get this guy's name, because I'm waiting on a reply for him. But he got back to me right away, because his name is Adrian Alcima, and he's with an outfit. They're on Twitter. It's called Columbia News, at Columbia News. And they ran an article talking about this trip with Epstein and the president of Colombia, and it has them stopping in Venezuela. Okay. So that is the only link that I've been able to establish as far as putting Epstein in Venezuela. Now, and I emailed this Adrian, and he emailed me back, and he's standing by his story that he has a flight log that states Epstein landed in Venezuela. And that's not on the flight logs we have. All the flight logs that I've been able to see, they have that trip. You can see the president of Colombia on the plane, but it has them going between Teterboro, back to the Virgin Islands, back to Palm Beach International. And the weird part is it shows him going into the Virgin Islands, but it doesn't show him leaving. So, maybe those flight logs, and we know they're incomplete, but maybe they've been doctored. But this is what I've requested from this reporter with Columbia News, is the copy of the flight log that shows them landing in Venezuela, because that'll be the only shred of evidence. But if you read that story, everything else is right on. And it leaves us with, why is Sean Penn down there? Sean Penn's also been in Haiti. He's a roving ambassador for the United Nations in Haiti. That gives you a lot of freedom to do what you want down there. Why is that? And we know what the Clinton Foundation was doing in Haiti. They were trafficking kids. Laura Silsby Gaylor, that's what they were doing, trafficking kids. That's not disputed. Bill Clinton went down and got her sprung from jail. She would have spent time in a Haitian prison. She was, and she turns out to be one of the executives in the company that runs Amber Alert. Hey, Mo Fitz is in the house. Wow. Some weird ass operative. You said it. And according to this story, and please read the Medium story, Nasty Business, Sean Penn is freaking out because he was down there. He took video, and he according to the story, and I believe that, he wasn't involved in any of the child rape that was going on, but he was there, and he did take video, and this video has disappeared from his house, as well as a safe that was in this house in Venezuela. When you look at recent events, look at Maduro, look at everything that they've done. Mo Fitz, wow, that's cool. It's in the house. Look at what they've done. They were trying to get Maduro out of there. Okay, why? He's still there. When the CIA goes after, somebody down there, they generally get them. Okay, but they haven't gotten Maduro. Is the contents of that safe? Why? I don't know. We're getting phone calls, not for me. But so yeah, I think the Venezuela is a big story. Hopefully, Mr. Or Adrian with Columbia Reports can get us more information. So as soon as I get that flight log, if it says Venezuela, and I don't know why. I mean, he in his initial email, he's sticking by that story that and I sent him the one we have, which doesn't say Venezuela, and it sounds like, and it would be. I mean, if they were doing that in Venezuela, they were probably trying to brownstone Chavez, because they were trying to get rid of him for a long time. And how do they do that? They send in a CIA operative, befriend him, Sean Penn. We know Hollywood's compromised. We know, what they're doing. Naomi Campbell, for God's sake, Michael Moore, all those guys. They don't give a shit about Venezuela, So they're all down there, and what would they say? Oh, well, they become friends with Chavez. Well, meet our financier friend, Jeffrey Epstein, and then they get him on tape doing something. So, yeah, Michael Rupert. Yeah, I know who he is, LAPD. But so yeah, keep on the Venezuela, and I rely on you guys. You guys are good investigators. You're probably as good as I am. I pick up the phone, I email people. So yeah, but I'd be interested, and I am going to find out one way or another what Adrian, where he got that information. If the flight logs are different, the ones he has compared to the ones we have, that's significant. Mo Fitz knows Michael Rupert, LAPD that exposed the CIA crack cocaine epidemic in LA, and a lot of other things. Worked with Ted Gunderson, But so yeah, stay on Venezuela. We need help with Venezuela, and I'm just waiting. Here's that's, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the email to Adrian Anselmo, who is the journalist, and it's looks like an independent paper in Colombia, which is probably a rare find. But yeah, he's sticking to the fact that that story is correct. I think Jack Agansky was the one who found that. So we're bearing down on that as much as we can. We're waiting on more information from the Virgin Islands, and we're hoping that that's going to grow into a corruption investigation. How did that ambulance get there? You know, what else was? How did the Bureau of Motor Vehicles license it? You know, that's a good corruption angle, and you start following these threads. You know, hopefully they'll be doing that in the Virgin Islands. There's another, the reporter that won't respond to me. Actually did a pretty good story the other day on $300 million that has disappeared from it was a grant that Epstein gave to the Department of Natural Resources, I think, out there, so he could develop the land on Great St. James into some Disney type resort, amusement park. The previous governor was in on that, and I still haven't had a chance because I want to investigate. We know that their current representative, Stacey Plaskett, took $9,000. She's the House rep from that territory, U.S. Virgin Islands. Stacey Plaskett. She's on Twitter. Tweet at her. I do. I ask her what did she do with that $9,000? Is she going to give it back? So she was financed by Epstein. Are the current governor and lieutenant governor? Probably. You know, we know the past one. They had massive corruption out there. So we're keeping an eye on that, and we're going to follow these threads wherever they lead. And we've got somebody in the government out there that's talking to us and is trying to get to the bottom of this. And I can't imagine she's not at some risk. But we made a real good connection with her, and she's in the Department of Health out there, and it's her job to license ambulances and follow stuff like that. So stay on Venezuela. That's in the works. We've got the ambulance now, Zorro Ranch. And I'm going to ask you guys, have you called the Department of Justice today? Have you called the Southern District of New York? Have you called the FBI and asked them, why is Zorro Ranch operating not quite business as usual, but it's being occupied? There are a couple, and if you look in the show notes, we have a link to, or actually Twitter. They're both on Twitter, and they're both on YouTube. So subscribe to these people. One of them is TruNews. They've got drone footage. They've sent their reporters into Zorro Ranch on private property at some risk to their own health and safety. And they're just look in the show notes. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Interact with them. The other guy is I forget his name. Howie's watching. Hey, Howie, we're gonna get everybody's asking about Howie. Is fine. He's got some plans in the works. If anybody that's here knows what Howie does, and he was calling out Bill Clinton over a year ago about the Lolita Express. So we're still in the midst of our software upgrade, or I am, trying to figure this out. I'm not a tech guy, but hopefully we'll have better software and we'll be able to bring people on. I'll be able to show you screens and stuff like that, which YouTube has made just about impossible right now. So we're in the midst of that, but Howie's watching at least, and he's never far from my thoughts. Yeah, he's done some serious. Karen, Disney. Disney was using Great St. James as a stopover. There was some, you could go there if you're on a Disney cruise, take a boat over there. There's some weird, this was on a boat, but it was a pizza joint on a boat. This is for real. Howie, everybody's saying hi to you in the chat room. You can't get on YouTube, but everybody misses you. But we're gonna have Howie back soon. And follow him on Twitter, retweet his stuff. He's on this, pretty much like I am 24/7, and like you guys are. So yeah, but yeah, Disney, Disney You take a little boat, and it was in the works because we have documentation on this. Before the old governor went out, they were trying to create an amusement park, and that's what this Department of Natural Resources. Yep, yep. Pizza pie, something like that. MJ, you're right. Yeah, and that's that information is out there. Just a weird couple ran that thing, and it's on a boat. It's like, who in the hell would go to that dumpy ass, island to get a pizza? Just crazy stuff. But yeah, they were going to build an amusement park, and it would be affiliated with Disney and their tour boats. And we know about Disney. I mean, they're just horrible. So. And you guys, bore down on these guys. I don't have time to get to everything I'd like to. But one of the things is research the current governor and lieutenant governor of the Virgin Islands, because we know the past one was corrupt. They had massive corruption going on up there. The EMS bureau had massive corruption. There was a Plaskett that was in that bureau that I don't know if she's there anymore, but that's the same family where our United States House of Representatives, Stacey, the one that took the $9 grand from Epstein, she is still the U.S. House rep for the USVI. So, wow. Wow, MJ, you're not rusty, are you? You're not Rusty Shadow. We keep asking Rusty to come on here, and maybe we'll get him one of these days. I always ask, but Rusty is back posting videos. He's been a great help to our ambulance investigation, and he's still, he's keeping an eye on that. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of investigating going on. What does look like is that they've taken all the people off of there, because I haven't seen any activity, and Rusty is keeping an eye on the Big Island now. But they were developing that right up until recently. You could see the construction going on out there. There's a pretty impressive looks like a power station with generators. So yeah, keep an eye on what Rusty's doing. I try to too. It's just a lot of information. But I'm digressing here. I was talking about New Mexico. Still hasn't been seized, still hasn't been searched by SDNY. So that is ridiculous. Okay. And that's what Whitney's talking about. There are connections of Bill Barr to this mess way back in the stuff that was going on in MENA with Bill Clinton, and it's all related. We know you guys are getting that. Yeah, Epstein, Barr virus. Yeah. And the guy, and that's part we haven't talked about, and that's what was going on at that Zorro Ranch, is this genetic crap, and this is all on record. This has been in the New York Times. Epstein wanted to introduce his DNA into some race of people, and that's how he was doing it, raping these girls. And I think that was going on in Venezuela. It was definitely going on the Zorro Ranch. Okay, and the other part of this, that people haven't, I mean, that's bad enough. It's like boys from Brazil shit, DNA and engineering. But the other part of this is the transhumanist thing, where these freaks, these Satanists, these, the people that run Harvard and MIT, the idea is that they're going to mix or meld human DNA with artificial intelligence. That's how they plan to live forever. So that's part of this agenda. That's just even sicker than just the DNA part. So that's what's going on with Zorro Ranch. Look at TruNews, and I've got their information in the show notes. All you have to do is search them on YouTube. The Rock of Talk. I think he just got. He's interviewing people that work for Epstein in New Mexico. He's doing interviews. The Justice Department and the SDNY task force aren't, but this guy, I forget his name, but he's known as the Rock of Talk. He's on Fox Radio out there, maybe Fox News. But yeah, subscribe to him. He's only got 30 subscribers. I think he just got on YouTube, but he's on Twitter at Rock of Talk. That's in there. So is TruNews. They're in there. And they have they're watching this compound just like Rusty is. So they're kind of our New Mexico Rusty Shackelford, which needs to be done. And tweet at the Justice Department. For God's sake, if you're on Twitter or even on Facebook, you can tag the Justice Department and the FBI and SDNY. And if you're not doing that on Twitter, you're wasting your time. Because they see those. They see those tweets. Ask them, why hasn't the place been seized? Why hasn't it been searched? Why are people living in it? I sent, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a contact with the public information officer with SDNY, and I sent him the stuff that they've been, that Rocket Talk and TruNews has been doing. And I said, you might want to pass along to the task force. There's people living in a crime scene, okay? And there's news reporters walking around that crime scene and photographing it, just like was being done, on Little St. James. So I sent that. I'm trying not to, I don't want to burn bridges with this guy. But, what I said to him, his name is DiBiase, Nick DiBiase, he's the public information officer. I said, you might want to pass that along to the task force. These guys need to get out there. That place needs to be shut down and seized. There's people living in it. There's a big motorhome outside of it. There's cars that are licensed in New Mexico and Arizona, I believe. So, but the good thing is that these guys out there are on it. They're keeping track of it. They've actually walked up to this place. They've shown a lot of it. There's bars on the windows at this Zorro Ranch place. It's just really screwed up. There's no reason. And you've got victims testifying under oath in federal court today in Manhattan saying they were raped. Okay, there's a conspiracy. That's what the Berman, the U.S. attorney for the Epstein case, said. The conspiracy count is going on. Okay, so why, with that testimony, these are the witnesses. Why aren't they shutting that place down? Yeah. They're in the midst of a lot of weirdness in that area out there. And actually, the only person in government that's really paying attention to it is like the property appraiser or whoever has to do with land in the state of New Mexico. And we know that Bill Richardson. Oh yeah, and this came out today that Epstein was not on the New Mexico sex offender registry. Was that because of Bill Richardson? So yeah, a lot of this stuff, and you're tweeting about it, you're talking about it, you're getting this information out is the only thing that's going to put pressure, on, and that's all we have left. Don't waste your time on who killed Epstein. How was he? Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that came out today too. That the one camera that could have been used, there's something wrong with the footage from MCC. So I'll be damned. But that doesn't matter. He's not a defendant. What we need to be doing is pressuring the Justice Department and the Attorney General and everybody else you can think of to get on with this case. Get justice for these victims. Allow the further victims that haven't come forward to feel safe doing so. I mean, what in the hell? Must victims that haven't come forward feel like now, and seeing that, this is, Pentagon 9/11 truth. And on the 9/11 truth, well, that's really a side story, but it's all related to this. And we've been saying that since day one, but there's follow architects and engineers on 9/11 truth. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. I will be in Washington, D.C. And Mo did this. She did this. She contacted a representative. That's what I did. I got a prompt reply. I'm going to be meeting with my House representative from Virginia on 9/11 in Washington, D.C. To get legislation passed that's going to look into explosives in the buildings. That's an inside job. This is huge. At least, I totally agree with you, but my technical ability is maxed out. But you can do this. Go on their website. You can send a request for a meeting. This is all occurring. Architects and engineers and the fire organization in Queens that has opened their own investigation is having a big event in DC, and maybe Howie will drop down there. I hope. And Howie, ask Neil about that. Maybe you guys can pop down to DC on 9/11 and give us a hand with that. But I'll be Morgan Griffith. He's my representative. He's a really good guy. He's helped me personally with a lot of the stuff I was going through when I got hurt at the fire department. So yeah, and it's all connected. This is, who dancing Israelis, okay? Mossad, I'll be damned. Who's involved with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell and Maxwell's father, Mossad. So it's all related. So, we have to use the system that we have. And now we've got representatives that are willing to look at this legislation to get that passed, that we get a commission to investigate explosives, not the crap that that's the federal government saying, yes, this was an inside job, because it's not a commission to investigate who did it or this or that. It's to investigate the explosives being used in these buildings. That's what the fire district in Queens, they have their own investigation going. They have drafted legislation, and we're going to be down there on 9/11. That's coming up. Be here before you know it. And any of you guys in the DC area, come down and meet with me. You can come up to my congressman's office. I'm going to be going up there with representatives from architects and engineers. I've been involved with them in one way or another for years. Richard Gage, Eric Lawyer, Rudy Dent, retired FDNY guy that was there on 9/11. Okay, so big event going down. Come and join us, up there, and make our government responsive to what's going on. That's what got me. See, Ghosts of 9/11. See the firefighter, 343. That's a motorcycle club, and it's kind of it's not. We need to get that going, but Bud Wolverton, it's really not his name. He's a Miami firefighter that was working with 9/11 and got those made, and they weren't really meant to be a motorcycle club, but they could be. It kind of is. It's our motorcycle club. Kelly and me. That's our club right now, and Bud didn't want to take it that direction, but he gave us, and we have a lot of these things we're still trying to distribute. Ghosts of 9/11, and that's the police officers that were murdered, the firefighters that were murdered. 9/11 inside job, makes a great vest or leather jacket. Yeah, that T-shirt, awesome, and we have them. We just haven't been organized enough to get them distributed. Yeah, wear that down there. I'll be wearing my Class A uniform, but if I wasn't wearing that, I'd be wearing that. But yeah, I haven't had my Class A on since I retired, and I'll be wearing that in DC. And if you're in the neighborhood, come on down. The more the merrier. And it's not just my representative. You could be meeting with your representative. You could be we're trying to get the representatives to come to the event over the course of the day. So and I'll try to. I hate to promise. I've promised those to people, and we just haven't been able to, because we have tons of the T-shirts and patches. We've got DVDs for architects and engineers, but yep, all that, MJ, from JFK, through today, but light is being shed. This is as close as we've ever been to breaking this stuff open. So yeah, show up in the people's house, okay, on 9/11. Go talk to your legislators. And believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. If you go on their Facebook page or their website, Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, they give you a step-by-step process how you can request a meeting with your representative, and it's not hard. So do that, and hopefully maybe I'll see Howie and Neil down there. Maybe Mo Fitz will come down. That'd be nice. But yeah, anybody in that area, that's because that's what is going to get things changed. People, going to our capital and trying to make this system that that barely works. And even if maybe your rep won't agree to a meeting, but that doesn't stop you from being there. Architects and Engineers has a venue. It's going to be a huge event all day, and anybody, the more people that are there, the better. That's what puts pressure on our elected representatives and the media to cover it, and we'll be covering it. We'll be going live from down there. You can go live. That's what social media should be for, not not what it is most of the time. So I think we covered anything. If you pop some questions up, if you got them, because I think I'm at the end of. They said you can only absorb what your butt can endure. So we're about at the end of today's, and I'll keep updating you on these. Anything new comes out, we get it on Twitter, we get it on Facebook. We have a crowdsource traffic report page on Facebook that you can post all this stuff too. So unless you have any questions, I think I'm gonna just call it a day. And we're on this. There's a lot of people that are on it. You're on it. You're welcome. You're welcome. And that's it. Screw politics. Okay, politics don't matter. Everybody, to get this done, everybody in this country is going to have to join hands. And if we can't do that over our children, we don't deserve to have a country. And I mean, so that's what it's about. We must get our government to be responsive. We must force the Justice Department to do the right thing in this case, because if this case is properly investigated and is broken open, the whole system will change. Hey, Connor's reports in here. God, we've still got some little turd pedophile that we outed personally that's still crazy as hell. He's reared his ugly head, so yeah, we're dealing with him too. But yeah, it's what you guys can do on a daily basis with the people that you know, with the people you talk to, the people you're involved in social media. Just keep, and it's unpleasant. This stuff is unpleasant. They're raping children, murdering children, doing genetic research on children. It's disgusting. People don't want to hear about it, but we have to keep bringing it up, And the politics are really not that important. It is important who's president. And, I got a lot of problems with Donald and his previous, associates and guys like Roy Cohn. But this I know, okay? There is nothing on the Democratic side that is worth a shit. And if Hillary was in there, we'd be having this conversation from inside a FEMA camp probably. So until something better comes along, I have to give them credit for the executive orders, the massive uptick in child trafficking arrests, and that's it. I don't care about the rest. We've got a lot of problems in this country, but if we don't cut this cancer out, we're not going to have a country. We will come apart. There will be a civil war. All these forces that are working to foment a civil war will be successul. So he's the guy that's in there, and we have to support who's the president. And from what I've seen, yeah, he's far from perfect, but there's nothing else on the other side that could even come close, So And we need to make him responsive to what we're doing. Down for some 9/11 truth, how he said. All right, so you'll see if we're up there, we don't have to worry about this crap software. We can me and Howie can go live from DC. Hopefully Neil will be there. That's how I met Neil. He was getting his ass kicked by some crooked DC cops. That's how I met him. So yeah, you guys are great. You make this possible for us to do, and just keep doing it, and we'll do the best with what we have. And as long as this issue is being addressed, that's the best we have to go with, and to unearth this stuff. And 9/11 is part of it, and I think Trump's even on the record back when saying, that those were demolitions, and you got to realize too, and yeah, he's got a lot of issues, and but the guy that's in that office can't do this alone. I mean, they can't. There's just no way. So we have to, have our voices heard to make our government responsive, and that's what we're doing. 9/11 is part of that. And to me, the most important part is the child rape and what's been going on, what's been allowed to happen, and ex-presidents being allowed to do this, facilitating it. And there's a level above them. Epstein was a pimp. He was expendable. Clinton's the next level. But what's the level above Clinton? Okay? That's where the change needs to occur. And putting Bill in jail and Hillary and the Clinton Foundation people, that's how you're going to get to that next level, or at least letting that next level know that we're going to put these individuals in jail and make them responsible to our laws. We're supposedly a nation of laws. So I love you guys. Thank you. My two brain cells, one of them is on life support and the other is just about to go. So stay in touch. We'll see you on Twitter. We see you on Facebook. Check out those sources. And I rely on you. You guys have done a great job of bringing me this information. And the Vatican, the Queen, we're up against huge forces, but there's more of us than them. That's what people never realize. And once we get over all this, brainwashing and really link hands as citizens of this country, this is all over, and the world, so that's what we're trying to do. And we are going to bring them down if it hair lips the Pope. So you guys keep in touch. You keep us going, and we love every one of you, and we'll be in touch. So you be in touch. All right. So bye for now. You got any other questions? Stick them in the comments of this video, and I will try my best to answer any questions that you have. And we're going to get our stuff together. I doubt it's going to be before 9/11. It might be, you never know. But we're going to have Howie back on here. I miss, just seeing him, even if it's just on here. So, and if you don't know what he does, check out How He Confronts Pedophiles. And he's got, there's only one of me. Yeah, there is. They broke the mold. So, let's join hands, work on unity instead of division, because that's how we've gotten here. We've allowed ourselves to be divided. And once we get educated and we know what's going on, and everybody is in a different stage of that, we will not be divided any longer. And the one, and I've said this from day one, the one issue that can unify this whole country is children. So that's what we need to be concentrating on, and I think we are. So we're doing a much better job of it. So you guys stay in touch. We'll be back soon. Howie's going to be on here soon, and we'll get there. Let us know. Twitter, Facebook, email, messages. So I'll just say goodbye for now. Tip my hat to you. We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. I love you. Bye for now.